Hey, Nora.
Hello, Father.
What are we going to talk about this week?
Today we're going to talk about going to the ER.
Welcome back to the Norah and Dad show. As always, I'm Dad, and with me is the lovely and talented
Norah.
Nora. You threw me off with the father.
Sorry, I was feeling a little formal. I've been writing formal for the past 20 minutes, so.
First AP English paper in the can and turned in.
Woo!
You wrote about Gulliver's Travels?
Worst book I've ever read. I'm sorry, Miss Guggenheim, if you're listening to this. I love you. I love your class.
But can you
It's
share?
funny.
Can you share what the topic of your paper was?
So in Gulliver's Travels, what I would say is the funniest part about it is that he likes talking about his poop a lot. Like a lot. And I wrote my paper.
Who doesn't?
Well, you would think like a nobleman of the 1700s wouldn't write about that in his journals, but he did. Well, not he did. He's a character. But I wrote my paper about the symbolism of poop and why the author decided to put that into the novel.
Can you share your lead sentence from your paper, which
yes.
I thought was just outstanding?
Okay, let's see. I'm going through papers to find it because I don't know it off the top of my head. Oh, okay, here it is. Poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. They were definitely number 1 for Jonathan Swift, as displayed through scatological humor in his novel Gulliver's Travels.
Anytime you can work in poop jokes and number 2 in a sentence, that's a winner in my book.
I agree.
So we've been off for a few weeks. We ambitiously started season 2 of the show, and then we took like a month off. So we're back.
Not bad. That's my fault.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But so the plan going forward, to let everyone out in podcast listening land know, is in an effort to make our show a little more reliable, we are going to do an every other week format instead of trying to do every week and then falling short and disappointing you guys with coming on Tuesdays and not finding our show. We're going to do every other Tuesday instead of every Tuesday. So we recorded what seems like forever ago, the first episode of season 2, and then Nora ended up in the emergency room. And
it was so fun. I had such a good time.
You ended up in the emergency room. Why did you end up in the emergency room?
Because we were in a car accident.
And you weren't feeling super stellar.
No, I could not move my neck, which is not a very pleasant feeling, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, I got the call from school that you were not feeling well, so we picked you up at school. I picked you up at school and took you up to the emergency room. Not my favorite place to be, particularly when it's not like an emergency. Well, let's back up. So I called the nurse on call, which is what you have to do when you want to get the initial plan was to take you to the doctor's in like the office so you can get an x-ray, which would be the easiest way I thought to get you an x-ray. And so in order to get a same-day doctor's appointment, you have to go through a nurse. And on the nurse's line, they took your symptoms, which was like you were in a lot of pain and you were like having trouble moving your neck and whatever. And she was like, no, she needs to go to the emergency room like immediately to rule out like a broken neck and or a broken back. And like, I get it. They go through like a series of like questions on their computer screen that you have to answer. And I get that they want to limit their liability. They don't want to tell you not to go to the ER and then you move the wrong way and you're paralyzed and then they screwed up. So I get that. So we couldn't get a doctor's appointment. We were told we had to go to the ER immediately. So I took you to the ER. And then we were there for what felt like forever.
It was probably like 5 hours.
Yeah, it was like 5 hours to get a CAT scan and for them to diagnose you with whiplash, which I could have done without taking you to the ER. Yeah. And then for them to send you home with some like high strength ibuprofen and muscle relaxers. And I could have done all of that. Well, I couldn't have given you the medicine, but I certainly could have diagnosed the whiplash without us having to spend all day in the ER. And it's not that I don't like spending quality time with you. I do.
Well, it was not quality time.
Well, first of all, they had no rooms available.
Yeah, we were in the hallway. Like there was a kid getting his finger like put back together next to us.
Yeah, he was either 14 or 15, and they were clearly Amish, and he was there with someone not his parent, because I heard them on the phone getting consent from the parent to treat the kid. He was a construction worker at 14 or
Apparently.
15. Yeah, and shot a nail gun through his finger. And so I got to watch him get stitched up while you got your CAT scan. That was because he was like 5 feet away from us. That was fantastic.
Well, I'm sure that was great.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. I watched you born. Like, I watched them.
That's
You were
less graphic.
You were a C-section. Like, I watched them.
That's true.
Like your mom's like organs out on the table next to her as they took you out of her belly. It was gross, but really cool. Yeah, so the ER, not my. It
Hey,
was.
the food was okay. They gave us little lunches.
Oh, the food was really good. It was chicken salad. Yeah. Yeah. It was like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and neither one of us had eaten yet. And I
asked.
you asked the nurse if they had food, and she said she'd see what she could find, and she came back with these little like lunch boxes of chicken salad with some crackers and some cookies and some other assorted things. But the
Grapes,
chicken
carrots.
salad, 10 out of 10. It was really, really, really good chicken salad. Or I was just starving and ready to gnaw my arm off because it had been all day by 3:30 in the afternoon and I hadn't eaten yet. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it was not the best day, but that's okay.
Not the best day. You spent a fair amount of time in the ER in your life
Yeah.
for various things, none of which ended up being serious.
Well, my fructose malabsorption is that's not serious, but it's like
stomach ailments and trying to think what other of your.
I had
the
a
time
seizure.
Oh, you did.
I don't
have a
remember it. I just
seizure.
know I had one.
I remember sitting at my desk. I was actually walking through the hallway at my office, and I got a page. And so I happened to be walking past the reception desk, and I said, "Who's on the phone?" And they said, "It's your wife." And I said, "Can you tell her I'll call her back?" And they were like, "Well, you might want to talk to her. She's calling from the back of an ambulance." Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Did you want to talk to her?
at that point I wanted to talk to her very, very badly. Yes. I was
Donovan
going
born
into
then?
he was not yet born. Your mom was
Okay.
pregnant with Donovan. Yeah, your mom was pregnant with Donovan at the time. You had a fever that was high enough, and the suggestion from the nurse, I think it was the suggestion of the nurse that we called, like the nurse on call
Mhm.
that we called, was to put you in a tepid bath to try and bring your fever down because you had like 104 fever. It was really high, which you got a lot of when you were a little kid. And I guess the water brought your fever down too quickly and it caused you to have a febrile seizure, which scared the bejesus out of your mom and me, frankly. I mean, I wasn't there when it happened. I saw the aftermath in the hospital when you still couldn't talk. And excuse me,
Bless
I had
you.
a tickle in my throat. Maybe I need to go to the ER. When you couldn't talk, yeah. And the very first thing we asked you to say, you were hooked on American
I
Idol at
remember
the time.
this now. Okay.
Yeah, and you were a big fan of what? Do you remember what was
David
the dude's
Cook.
name? David Cook, who won one of the seasons. Did he win one of the seasons of American
I don't
Idol?
remember.
I
I
don't
think he came
remember
in
either.
second.
Yeah. No, I think he won.
I'll look it up.
Oh, let's see.
David.
Let's play Who Can Google Faster. Oh crap! I can't type.
Oh no, he did win. He won the
Yeah.
7th season of American Idol in 2008.
There you go. So,
He's currently 39 years old.
God, that makes me feel really old. Yeah, so so you weren't speaking for a long time because of the seizure, and we asked you, or I think your mom asked, who your favorite American Idol was, and you said David Cook, and that's when we knew you were going to be okay.
That's normally, I feel like that's not the first question that would come to mind.
Well, you
Like,
would
don't you normally say, like, who am I? What's your favorite color?
Yeah, we asked who your favorite American Idol was, and we figured that was a less chance of a random answer that you wouldn't. It seemed like something
That's
that
true.
if your brain was working the way it was supposed to work, you would be able to answer that question and you would be okay.
That's fair.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of other memorable Like you haven't, I shouldn't even say this because now I'm going to totally curse you, but no broken bones at the age of 16. So that's a good thing.
Yes. I mean, I've sprained my ankle 4 times though, but that's not like serious. It just hurts.
Oh yeah, we did go to, you've been to the ER for some sprained ankles, but nothing broken.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I totally just jinx you. So if you break your leg tomorrow, I'm really sorry.
Oh, I hope not tomorrow. Stuff to do.
Totally not my fault. What's that?
So not tomorrow. I have things to do.
What do you have to do tomorrow?
I don't know. Oh, I have to do set building after school for musical.
Set building. Oh, what's the musical? I mean, I know what the musical is, but
Elf.
And you are not in the musical.
I'm not in the musical because I would prefer to hang out with a bunch of kids than
so
that.
They are using the lower school. Your school is K through 12, and they're using the lower school kids to play the elves.
They're adorable.
Elves to play the elves, and you volunteer to be the cat herder of the littles.
Well, yesterday, my lower school buddy actually, she saw me and she like sprinted over to me and gave me a big hug, and it made me really happy.
Yeah,
and then she introduced me to her dad.
That's very sweet.
Yes.
So set building, so we don't want to break any bones, and don't put any nail guns through your hands.
That's the plan. I wouldn't want to do that, I would think.
Yeah, I don't need any more. Don't need any more. Maybe we shouldn't have talked about going to the ER at all. Maybe we're totally going to jinx us.
Well, if we do, c'est la vie.
If we do, c'est la vie.
I don't know. What else am I supposed to say?
I don't know. So you healed more or less from the car accident, and then our dog
stupid dog.
I love him. He's full of love.
He was very stupid in that moment, and gave me whiplash.
It was not his greatest moment, but he jumped up to greet you, and he jammed into the side of your face.
Yes, and he gave me whiplash.
Yeah, and the dog gave you whiplash. So you were feeling better, and then like 2 weeks ago, the dog. It wasn't even. I can't even say he re-injured you because it was wasn't it the opposite side of your neck?
Yeah, but he just injured me.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so the long and the short of it is you have not been feeling great for the past.
And I had a cold.
Yeah, you had a cold, non-COVID cold.
Tested.
Yeah, so you haven't been feeling great for the last month, unfortunately, but you are now on the mend, feeling better. You've been able to play. I mean, you played a couple shows in the interim, so that was good.
I did. That was super duper fun.
Yeah, we
went to Akron.
Yeah, we traveled to Akron. The Nora Marie sphere of influence expands south to Akron. So no, it was really cool. You go ahead and tell the story of how that came to be.
I was playing at a brewery/bar in Akron called Acronym, and this couple walked by and they sat down and started listening.
Well, and that was when? That was over the summer.
That was over the summer, yeah. And then after my show, the woman who sat down with her boyfriend, she came up to me and said that she was a musician and like that I was good and stuff like that. And then we followed each other on Instagram. And then like a month ago, she messaged me asking if I would be interested in playing a show with her in Akron. And I said, of course. And then I played a show in Akron.
Never turned down a show.
Never, ever, ever.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was an interesting experience. The music, it was a very diverse.
For more than one reason.
It was a diverse. There was you.
I was talking about the couple.
Oh no, we'll get to that. But there was a year what I would call indie alt acoustic. Is that a fair description?
Sure.
Okay. And then the second guy, the second person on the bill was a rapper. And then the lead, Shanilla, did I say that right? Yeah,
Shanilla,
right. Yeah. She's more like pop, like a pop singer. So it was just a very interesting mix of very interesting mix of musical styles. Sad Harris was the rapper. Yeah, and it was a very interesting bar. You got to watch this. I don't know how much of it you saw, but certainly while you were performing, there was a couple that was sitting across. There was a very long, narrow room, and sitting across from us, but it couldn't have been more than 8 feet or 10 feet away from your mom and me, was a couple that had to have been in their 60s that were just, I mean, they were going at it.
Shirts
for lack
unbuttoned.
of a better. Yeah, his shirt was unbuttoned like 3/4 of the way down, and hands were in places they shouldn't have been, and there was just a lot of stuff that made
Everybody uncomfortable.
Everybody really, really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
C'est la vie.
c'est la vie, man. It happens. You go into adult places. I guess adult things. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot for the senses to take in. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. No need to get an explicit rating.
No. So while you felt cruddy, you were able to do some stuff. You played a couple of shows, and you were at school most of the time. You had a few days off here and there. But what suffered as a result of you not feeling well was the podcast. And so we are now back for season 2 in full force. I guess, welcome back to season 2 of the Norah and Dad show. We're going to be with you every other week. Norah, anything else you want to say about your emergency room visits?
Hopefully I don't break any bones tomorrow.
You feeling better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had
good.
a fun weekend. I'm all good now.
You're all good now, ready to get back to life tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
All right. Norah Marie, where can people find you other than right here on this lovely podcast?
At Norah Marie Music.
And that is
everywhere.
Everywhere. You can find me at John Hyman everywhere. And we will be back with you in 2 weeks with another episode of the Norah and Dad show. Love you, kiddo.
Love you too.